Well, back again this morning, brother and sister. Got me another cup of coffee. And was just thinking on the news here, how so much it is like back in the 60s. It's just repackaged. I was thinking on this thing about for the greater good of all the people. It kind of reminded me of back in the 60s, how the greater good, uh, communism, which means that the, the the good of all trumps individual rights. But I'm here to put it to you, brothers and sisters. This is just, to my view, communism repackaged. This thing that's going on now for the good. They'll always say for the good of the whole. Say, but I've had my dealings with the communist. During my back in the '60s, I went to this visited a friend down in New Orleans way. Now I was just uh, plain old country boy, I guess, and didn't care nothing about no communism or anything else. All I cared about was girls, and having a good time. But I went to see my friend down in New Orleans, down around in the '60s, during this war and everything. And there was some people on the campus over there. I'm not going to tell you what campus, but it was a communist group on one of the college campuses. I believe it was what they call Students for a Democratic Society, SDS or something like that. And I went to some of their meetings just because they had spaghetti suppers and stuff like that, on campus, and we'd pontificate and go back and forth about things. And one of the things was that you had to be willing to, believe it or not, do away with your parents. In other words, the state was God. The state was God. You did what they said. Well, I wasn't willing to do that. Do away with my parents. For I let them know that, and I didn't get invited to the spaghetti supper either because I wasn't going to kill my parents. And for some reason, I don't know why, they thought I believed in God. Of course, I could drink all them under the table, and a beer wasn't safe if it was in the room with me. But for some reason, they thought that I believed in God. I guess because I wasn't going to kill my parents. But what I'm trying to say is this is nothing new under the sun, brother and sister. What's going on now? What's going on back then? The right, and then here's how they do it. You don't care anything about you don't care anything about your fellow man. In other words, and then they'll say things like, what's this? What they say? We're all in this together. They subtly do this on television. We're all in this together. What's another thing they say? I forget the other slogan. Somebody remind me, but we're all in this together. Which everybody said, well, that's right. That's good. We need to be looking out for our fellow man. But that is really the gist of communism. It takes a village, say. It takes a village for the good of all. But here I'm trying to put it to you, brother and sister. If you don't have individual rights in a nation, you hadn't got anything. Say. And that's what I'm putting to you. If you don't have any individual rights, the corporate rights or the rights of everybody, that goes out the window. So in my view, what's going on now is kind of a backdoor communism. It was coming down the road back then in the 60s. So it's coming down, still coming. The train's still arriving in the station, They're trying to get everybody. They're just repackaging everything and making it let's do this for the good of everybody. But I'm trying to say, brothers and sisters, if you don't have individual rights, you got nothing at all. So I'm on to this stuff. I've lived through it. communism. They didn't want me at their spaghetti supper. No, don't let that fella. He's got some crazy views. He don't want to kill his parents and let the state be God. And like I say, for some reason, one of the excuses that I didn't get invited to the spaghetti supper over there on campus over there was that I believed in God. But back then, I don't see how they could tell it because, like I say, I could drink them all under the table, and I use cuss words a lot in my vocabulary. I use them now a little bit. I don't do it in public. Every once in a while, I let one slip around the house here, something to get me disgusted. But what I'm trying to say is that what's going on now is very, very, very subtle. Most people don't even see it right in front of their face. Commune. That means the group is God. You do all these things, give up all this for the sake of others. And I believe in being kind, but I don't believe in it being forced on a nation. And I believe individual rights trump the rights of the masses. See what I'm saying? If you start with the individual, then all that other stuff will take care of itself. Say, they're starting from the back, saying they're using that for an excuse. I just had that thought. I don't know why I got back on here, but we're babysitting a lot now. And, we're talking about the schools. Looks like they're going to have virtual learning and, a lot. And we got a new world here right ahead of us. But what I'm trying to say is there's nothing new under the sun. What's come down the road now has come down the road before. And but the thing that I'd like to put a little hope out here for everybody before I get off of here, that the old devil's at a great disadvantage, because at any time, at any moment, God, being sovereign, and being in possession of all power in heaven and earth right now, up above the dome, is in possession of all power. And he's ruling and reigning right now, whether it looks like it to us or not. And at any moment, at any time, he can do anything he wants to. He can quicken a person to eternal life. And there's all kinds of people that we don't see. All we see is the evil on television. But behind the scenes, in the unseen things, God is regenerating his people, bringing them to life. And there's only some, and they have a conscience about them. So that's what's getting in. The will of God is what is getting in the way, of the old devil to bring all his plans into fruition. That's what's getting in the way. Nothing's going to happen until it goes across God's desk and Jesus' desk. He's ruling and reigning. Nothing's going to happen without him first. See, in him is light. There's in Jesus is light, and there's no darkness at all. So, and what's going on now is they're mixing the light and the darkness. They want to say that both of them are the same, but they're not. Say, in him is light, and in him there's no darkness at all. And I forgot what that was. Probably one of the themes of that black and white theme you see all the time on television. Somebody, they'll have them there, and they might have a black shirt on and white hair, but they like that theme, But they think light and darkness are, I guess they think it's the same. Somebody fill me in on what all that's about. But I noticed that everybody you see coming on these shows has either got something black and the black and white thing. Sometimes I wear a hat, black and white, but I wasn't thinking nothing about it. But anyway, they put out these things, circle back and forth with one another to let them know they're on the same team. But no, brothers and sisters, they at a great disadvantage The old devil's at a great disadvantage. His time's limited. Nothing's going to happen unless it first goes across you look. You know what happened with Job. You know, old devil had to go to God, had to go to the Lord, and he couldn't do anything except first be okay through the Lord, say. And all that is working for our good. Although even the wrath of men will wind up praising God. So that's just what I want to say. Didn't want to leave everybody on a bad, sour note because people's eyes are being opened all across this flat, stationary plane that we call Earth that God made for us to live on. And people, God is beginning, people are beginning to awaken. And like I say, some of these people that God has revealed this to, it's a wonderful blessing to be to have this information that God be showing these people. And the thing about it is, that's not really going to what everybody calls what everybody presumes is the church people. He's going to the ragtag bunch of folks that you wouldn't think, and revealing this wonderful truth of God's cosmology. Wonderful, wonderful blessing to be in possession of this knowledge that God is passing on. He says, I'll show you great and mighty things that you knoweth not. Well, brother, I didn't know anything. When he showed me this, I said, wow, the whole world is believing a lie. And it's just one thing after another he's showing his people, and it's a wonderful, wonderful blessing to be in possession of this knowledge. But y'all might want to check out some of my little videos and show them. And I might get it wrong, but I'm trying to get it right on other things, other religious matters that might free up a lot of people and give them a lot of peace concerning their eternal destiny. But anyway, I got to get out of here. These kids are hollering, and just wanted to know one thing: peace and love from this old boy down here in Alabama.